they spend hours every evening trying to get them to sleep, struggling with his morning nap. If he's tired, he's going to sleep, right? Oh, I don't know what to do. I read about the Little One program, so we understand each other better. I mean, people around us don't believe us.
Sounds like a dream.
All the other nights he sleeps from 7 to 7.
Unicorn baby.
Enroll with the Little Ones program. Wow, that was amazing.
Hi everyone. Today I'm really excited to be talking to Suzanne from Sweden. Suzanne is part of the Little Ones community and she has been using our sleep program with her son Oscar since he was about 3 months old. I'm going to talk to her about the sleep challenges she was facing prior to starting Little Ones and how she was able to overcome sleep regressions, self-settling and developmental milestones to have her little boy napping like a pro and sleeping through the night by about 8 months. I just love talking to these parents firsthand because I think there's so much value in mothers sharing their journey, their parenthood journey, and I hope that it reaches and helps those of you out there who can maybe recognize something familiar in what these wonderful women are talking about. Maybe your baby is doing the same sort of thing and you're able to hear some advice and see what worked for these families. So welcome, Suzanne. It's so good to have you.
So our little one, Oscar, he just turned 11 months.
Oh, I love that name.
So do we. So the first couple of months, he slept, I thought, fine. And it worked. We had a rough period of 1 week where he insisted on only sleeping on top of me, also during the night. But otherwise, it worked out fine. But then when he hit 3 months, then he started this cat napping. So he can sleep longer than 40 minutes, even during the night. So I soon got very desperate and really needed some kind of difference. I read about the Little One program, so I thought, I have nothing to lose, let's try this. And then we started off slowly, just adapting to the schedule. So the schedule didn't really change anything else at that time. I thought that will be easier once we have the schedule in place. So we did that until he was maybe 4 or 5 months, and then I started transitioning from feeding to sleep, and then finally self-settling, and he did that when he was just about the week when he turned 6 months. And that was basically me taking it very slow, because whenever he knew, he did it just automatically. I mean, I started self-settled within, I mean, the day I tried or the night I tried, he did it. So
amazing. Sounds like he was really perfectly set up for good sleep. Yes. You know, he was in the right routine.
It's been very clear, and it still is, that the routine and the sleep schedule, the routine is so helpful. And it also helps the days when we're, for whatever reason, going off the schedule, because you have some kind of appointment or something, because you still have the knowledge from the routine and everything. So, and you know how he behaves when he's tired, and you can sort of, now you know you have to take it a bit early. Yeah, you can really plan even those days. I should give him more credit, because whenever I try something new, he's just done it basically immediately when I tried it. So it's me holding back, not really being ready or thinking it's going to be hard for each step, all from self-settling to stop feeding over the night and everything. So
it's amazing what they're capable of if we give them the chance to do it.
I mean, I think it's amazing. And I think one thing for me, or for us, because it's my husband as well, of course, I mean, people around us don't believe us. They think we're, I mean, oh, you must be so lucky. You must have this fantastic child.
Like a unicorn baby.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, no, I don't, well, we don't know, but I don't think so. I mean, he wasn't magical in the sleeping behavior before he started the routine. So I don't think he is now. But I mean, we talk to these other people around us with babies the same age, and they spend hours every evening trying to get them to sleep. And we're like, well, we put him to bed, we close the door, and basically it never takes more than 5 minutes and then he's asleep.
Amazing.
Not even
And
when
is
he's
it
been teething or
Yeah.
things like this, and maybe it's a bit of a disruption for a few nights, and then we're back to normal within a few days again. So it's fantastic.
And is he sleeping all night now?
Yes.
Perfect.
So basically when I started, so when he was maybe 7 months, I started reducing the night feeds in time, because I realized he was waking out of habit because it's nice. So I started shortening them for like 15-20 minutes down to 3 minutes. And then I braced myself. I thinking, oh, this is going to be horrible. When I stopped. He was fine. He just went back to sleep. And after, I think, maybe 2-3 nights, he stopped waking up because there was no point anymore. And then he slept all night.
Amazing.
And I mean, of course, we have an odd night where something might happen, or like when he was teething, but that's basically 1 night per month. And all the other nights he sleeps from 7 to 7.
Amazing. Do you know, it sounds to me like you really understand his sleep, which is really good, and you understand what, like what to do for him. And so that's awesome. Well done, you. On
thank you for giving
taking
me
charge
the
of it.
It's really, because it helps you really understand. Now we can really clearly see, okay, now he's tired. We understand each other better. And like just now, when he was about 10 months, he started having trouble falling asleep for his midday nap, struggling with his morning nap. And we thought, well, okay, let's try to shorten the morning nap. Not much happened. My husband, because he's at home with him during the days, and he said, well, I'll just try to skip it then and see what happens. All of a sudden, we started sleeping fine again for 2 hours in the middle of the day. So, and then we just adapt from there. So
you've just got the tools
I mean,
you
that
need.
can vary maybe up to half an hour each way from 7 o'clock, depending on how he's behaving. Is he tired? Is he more well rested for whatever reason? Then we just shift it slightly back and forth. So
sounds
it's
fabulous.
Fantastic, actually.
Sounds like a dream. And I'll tell you that random one-off waking at night is just, and it doesn't sound to me like you're worried about it, and I wouldn't be worried about it, because my own kids do that. Last night at 3 a.m. my 7-year-old son came into the room and goes, "Mummy, I can't sleep." Which is almost the worst one, because it's not like I'm thirsty where there's something you can do for it, or I'm cold, or I had a bad dream. It's I can't sleep, and I'm like, oh, yes, you can. But like it happens. So as they get older, they get up because they need to go toilet, or because they had a bad dream, or because they're worried about something. So that's just being human. But it sounds to me like
grown up so well. Sometimes we wake up and have a hard time falling asleep as well. So
that's right.
I think that's just normal.
That's right. So what would, not just in terms of sleep, but in terms of parenting, what would you say to a new parent? Like, what would your main piece of advice be?
I think the main piece of advice, well, I would have 2 maybe. So one would be to relax, don't stress out, just do it in your pace and sort of listen to your own heart, because there can be a lot of advice coming from every direction, but then actually enroll with the Little Ones program. Or if you don't need to, then fine. But if you're not really coping well with the routines and finding your own good routine, then I think, because it helps with everything else. It makes life so much easier for both the baby, for yourself. Everything around it is so much easier when you have a baby who's not tired all the time, and parents that are not tired all the time. And it really helps everything else in life. So don't stress out, and then find a routine.
That's great advice. Do you feel your attitude toward or your experience of motherhood is different now that you're all getting enough sleep than it was at the start when Oscar started sort of having these sleep issues back when you first started with little ones?
Yeah, well, I think it's more that I've come back to what I would call my normal self, because I'm pretty relaxed and I feel safe in myself and my own judgment. But the lack of sleep that I was having made me struggle just analyzing the situation and try. I mean, normally I would expect myself to be able to sort of figure out, maybe not perfectly, but at least make some kind of analysis of the situation. But it was just, I don't know what to do. But then it was perfect having the Little Ones village, because then I could sort of write, and I just wrote whatever was happening, and then I got some nice feedback, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. And then as soon as sleep started coming back, then it was much easier to become a more rational, confident person again, including motherhood, which of course is brand new. So it's fantastic to feel that you can be yourself again. In that sense.
And it's really important, because if you're not the best version of you, then you're not, perhaps the best version of yourself as a mother. So
no, I think I mean it's important to take care of yourself, because that means you can take care of your baby and your family in total. So it's all about finding that balance for what you need and everything. So and sleep is one big part of it. And obviously with the baby sleeping, you get the free time in the evening when they sleep. Because in the beginning, when I was just adapting to the schedule, he would still need me for sleeping, so I couldn't leave him. So actually it was a terribly boring period for maybe a month, because I basically was in bed from 7 to 7, and quite a lot during the day as well. But it was just a transition phase, so that's fine. But just having a little bit of time in the evening now when he's asleep, it's fantastic. In the beginning, when he started sleeping and I could take a shower, wow, that was amazing.
That is so. People who don't have young babies don't appreciate how incredible that is.
Right. It's the simple, small things in life that you appreciate.
And it is the evenings. You're right. That's my bedtime for the kids. Is like almost my favorite time of the day, because all my kids are in bed at 7:30. They're older, but 7:30, and it's just, you just can breathe and sit on the sofa and talk to your husband or binge watch Netflix. It's just so good for the soul.
Yeah, I think you need that to sort of, because it's so intense with activities and all going on and everything. So you kind of need that breather, just to be able to relax and breathe a bit. So
that's
and
right.
to have that ability is fantastic.
How did you find transitioning from feeding to sleep to your little one self-settling? You said you did that around sort of the 5-6 month mark.
Yeah, well, so I used to feed him to sleep. That was the only way I could get him to sleep before, unless he was in a carrier or in the car. But basically, I followed the recommendation. So I still was feeding him, but he wasn't completely asleep. And then I was sort of almost disturbing him a bit so that he wouldn't fall asleep. And I did that slowly. And then I realized after a while, okay, he's falling asleep on his own, but I keep on staying with him. And then a friend of mine, a very close friend, told me, well, just try to leave him then and see if he can't settle all by himself. So I did, and of course he did. It was just me being there because he's so cute. I didn't want to leave him. And then the same friend sort of gave me that mental support, because when he was waking up, to give him that little time to self-soothe and self-settle again when he was crying for maybe a minute, and not me just running in immediately. And then, so it took maybe, I took it quite slow with the reduced feeding to sleep. So maybe couple of weeks. I focused on that for the start of the evening and for the start of the nap, and then I kept on feeding during the night until he was about 8 months, and then I started dropping the night feeds as well. Because then we did other things. He started standing up, he started crawling, he started having teeth. So I thought, okay, maybe not all at once.
Yeah. Because it does sometimes happen all at once. Yeah.
Yeah, but then I started working, and I was like, I can't work and wake up several times per night. I'm not. That doesn't work. And then it wasn't a problem when I took the courage to do it. It was just like
he was ready.
He was ready.
Sounds like you were both ready.
It was his mother who was a bit slower.
That is amazing. That is a really great sleep journey, and to have achieved it all in a way that you feel comfortable with is that's important to us, and as well as, you know, I'm sure it's important to parents. You know, you want to do what you feel comfortable with your own child, so that's fabulous.
And I really like that the program is, I mean, you can really adapt it to how fast you want to do it yourself. So I prefer to take it slowly, and then yes, it takes a bit longer, but it was less stressful at least for me. And that means it's better for my Oscar as well, of course, when I'm not too stressed. And if he was having a bad night or for whatever reason, then we just took a small step backwards or like that, and then we progressed the next day. And it sort of helped me this guide that if you do it for three nights in a row, then it starts to become a habit. So I tried to, okay, let's not do it for more than 3 days, whatever, if I took a step backwards, maybe 2 nights, but not more. That was, it's been a fantastic journey, actually.
That sounds amazing. Well done to both of you, because he's done a lot of work too. You know, he's had to change habits and learn new things, and I just think babies are incredible and little sponges, and they're so adaptable.
And I can tell because so in Sweden we have a really good system for parental leave. So actually since Oscar turned 8 months, it's my husband staying at home. So he will stay home for at least 6 months, maybe a bit more. And then we were following the schedule. It worked great. And then my husband was taking over, and he was like, oh, we don't really have to be that careful with the routine. And I was like, I kept trying to tell him why it was good, but then at the end I was like, well, you're gonna figure it out yourself. So it took about less than a week with him, just letting him, because he as my husband said, well, if he's tired he's gonna sleep, right? I'm like, no, not necessarily. And it took less than a week, and then he realized, okay, it's a lot nicer to have a baby that is not constantly tired or whatever and crying all the time. So then he started following the routine as well, and it works great for him as well. So
that's great.
It was sort of putting it to the test.
Trial by fire. Fabulous. Hey, thank you so much, Suzanne, for coming on at night and talking to me and sharing your journey.
This is the last time. Oscar.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Easy.
Hey, thank you. It has been really, really lovely talking to you today.
Likewise, and thank you for this program and all the tools and support.
We just love talking to you guys, and it's so nice to hear, you know, that we're helping people and that we're able to reach people who need help. So thank you very much. Thank you so much, Suzanne, for talking with me today. I really appreciate your time. Thank you too for watching. I hope you found something in that conversation that sparked something within you. Maybe your child is going through similar things to what Suzanne's little boy Oscar was doing with his sleep. I would love to help you and your family get better sleep, work through better naps, work on some gentle self-settling. Have a look at our website, because there are a lot of articles on there. It is linked below. There are also a lot of videos here on our YouTube channel to help with anything related to sleep. If you want to take that a step further and get started on our sleep program, which is exactly what Suzanne did, the link for that is below as well. Thank you again for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.